Hey guys, it's me, Misty, your favorite graduate writing assistant for your course ENC1143 with Professor Linda Howell. These are just a few tips for your Project 1, seeing as that's coming up. Maybe you've gotten some feedback and you're kind of confused as to the comments, or maybe you're just a little worried about your content, that you're staying focused. I'm just going to give you a quick little lecture so that you feel a little bit more confident going into this. So let's start with the formatting. First and foremost, of course, it should be submitted in MLA. We want the heading in the top left corner. We want your name, the professor's name, the course name, the date, and the name of this project, which would be Project 1. On the top right, you should have your header that's complete with the page number and your last name. Of course, we want this double-spaced, organizing your paragraphs accordingly. This is a reflective essay, so feel more comfortable writing in first person. You can say I and my, because this is your tactics, so your approaches, and we want you to own that. Also, this particular project has an avatar, and I would suggest that you put the avatar the bottom or the top of your essay. I find it better to have it at the top so that we already have that visual as we're reading your essay and we know what you're talking about. Let's talk about the avatar a little bit. This is a reflection of you as a reader. So instead of just giving you an assignment to write about yourself as a reader, we wanted to give you a stronger backbone, something more visual to kind of reference. I'm kind of hoping this is going to keep you guys focused. As you go throughout your paper, ask yourself, is this relating to my avatar? Am I getting too far away from the point that I'm trying to make here? And again, position this avatar at the beginning or the end of your paper. So as far as the writing goes, one of the things I've noticed in the drafts is staying focused. One of the risks we run with this being a reflective paper is all of the associations and thoughts that come up as you're writing. So remember, this is about your approach to reading, your reading tactics, and discourse communities. Let's talk about the discourse communities a little bit. This can range anywhere from being in class and having a discussion on the discussion board and how that helps you. If you have a church group, maybe you're into blogging, anything like that, really, that helps you talk about reading and how you read and what you read would be considered a discourse community. Just make sure whatever you choose, even if it's a social network, that you make very clear that this is where you go to discuss reading. There are a few things to avoid doing too much in your paper. You don't necessarily have to completely eradicate it, but one of the things is summarizing specific books. It's good to know what kind of genres you like and why you choose them, but don't talk a whole lot about what a specific book says or does and your reaction to that specifically. Kind of try to broaden it a little bit and consider how your reading tactics have helped you get through this book or make you reflect on this book. And also you kind of want to avoid your reading history. It's okay to kind of say, you know, I've always loved reading. Green Eggs and Ham is still my favorite book ever since I was 5. Like, that's totally cool. It was my favorite too. But we do want this to be more reflective. You know, how does this affect you now? Is this just a comparison you're making? Or is there more to it? There should be more to it than just a list of what you've read or certain effects that some books may have had on you. So just to kind of end this out a little bit, a few proofreading tips. Read your essay out loud. I do it in front of my poor cat, and he just looks at me like I'm crazy, but I do catch a lot of my grammatical errors or run-on sentences. You know, if you read a sentence out loud and you hear yourself say it and you're like, what am I saying? Look at it again, consider your subject, your verb, and your object. This will also help you avoid comma splices and run-on sentences. I would also recommend to give yourself some time between drafts. I know we're getting a little close to the deadline here, but even if you start working on it tonight, you know, don't plow through it all through tonight. Maybe read it tomorrow morning and see if you still understand what you were saying. I often find this is incredibly beneficial for myself as well. And a few questions, or a couple of questions, to just ask yourself. They're pretty general, but you do have to be honest with yourself for them to work. So one question to ask yourself is, can I tell what this essay is from the first paragraph? Your first paragraph should introduce what it is you're going to be talking about. You can do this very creatively in a narrative way. You can be a little more straightforward about it. Whatever it is, don't just dive into your essay. Kind of give us a little prep. Let us know what we're getting ourselves into. And at the very end of the essay, does my conclusion just repeat my introduction? Of course, you want to give a little itty-bitty tiny minute recap of what we just discussed, but what are you pulling out of this essay? Again, this is a reflective essay, so you should be coming up with different ideas that maybe you didn't have in the introduction, or at least one would hope so. If it helps you, maybe distance yourself. Again, this is another time thing, and kind of detach yourself from the essay and say to yourself, what conclusions can I draw from this? Do I need to change my reading habits? Do I like them? Am I more confident as a reader now that I realize I do all of this? So those are just a few proofreading tips. Some of them, yeah, kind of specifically for this essay, but I think they're a little applicable into most things that you write. So anyway, best of luck to you, and I guess I'll meet you guys as you come in.